The person who has been hardest on you has actually been you yourself. And honestly, I don't think you even realize how much it's affecting you anymore. It's become normal. The overthinking, the replaying conversations, the guilt, the pressure, the constant feeling that you should have handled things better somehow. Meanwhile, the grace you give other people so easily, you almost never give to yourself. You would forgive someone else instantly for things you've been silently punishing yourself for years. And your future self really wants to talk about that today because she remembers what it felt like to carry around guilt that nobody else was even holding against you. This is a self forgiveness message. Hi, welcome to Magnetic Soul. So, your future self isn't perfect, but she finally stopped treating herself like she had to be. Take a breath and just listen for a minute. I think some of these things are going to hit deeper than you might expect. There are things you've been carrying around for a long time, the version of yourself you still cringe when you think about, mistakes that you replay at night, the relationship you stayed in for too long, or maybe the one you walked away from too soon. Opportunities you talked yourself out of, the moments where you froze, the times you disappointed yourself, even the seasons where you barely recognized who you were anymore. Your future self says she remembers all of it, and she needs you to hear something clearly. None of those moments make you unworthy of a good life. Gosh, that's so good. I'm going to say that again. None of those moments make you unworthy of having a good life. None of them. You were learning. You were overwhelmed. You were surviving. You were trying to figure things out with the awareness that you had at that time. And honestly, some of the things that you are still ashamed of came from versions of you that were deeply hurting. Instead of offering compassion to that version of yourself, you turned her against yourself. And that's the part that needs to end now. Because your future self says you've spent long enough carrying those things that were supposed to teach you in that moment, not define you. So let's start letting some of that go. I'm going to give you a few affirmations that she wants you to meditate on. I forgive myself for the times I abandoned myself just to keep the peace. I forgive myself for staying quiet when I should have spoken up. I forgive myself for ignoring red flags because I wanted things to work so badly. I forgive myself for the years I spent confused, lost, or disconnected from myself. I forgive myself for not always knowing what to do. I forgive myself for the coping mechanisms I developed while trying to survive the hard seasons. I forgive myself for pushing people away when I was hurting. I forgive myself for the walls I built to protect myself. I forgive myself for being harder on myself than I would have been on someone else that I love. I forgive myself for the time I lost while trying to become who I am now. I forgive myself for the chances I didn't take because fear convinced me I wasn't ready. I forgive myself for needing more time than I thought I should. I forgive myself for every moment I believed my mistakes mattered more than my growth. I forgive myself for expecting perfection from a human being. I forgive myself for carrying guilt long after the lesson had already been learned. I forgive myself for waiting this long to finally let it go. Because here's the truth your future self learned: self forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it just stops the past from controlling your relationship with yourself. And that changes everything. Because when you're constantly punishing yourself internally, it affects how you move through life, how much love you allow in, how much success you think you deserve, how safe it feels to be seen, how much peace you let yourself experience. Your future self says she didn't become magnetic because she suddenly got everything right. She became magnetic when she stopped treating herself like she was permanently damaged by the things she got wrong. That shift changed her life. She stopped bracing for punishment, stopped expecting shame around every corner, stopped seeing herself as a problem that constantly needed fixing. And in all the space that opened up after that, life started moving again. Relationships changed, confidence changed, opportunities changed. Not because she became a different person overnight, but because she finally stopped fighting herself every day. And your future self wants you to know something before we end this video. You do not have to earn forgiveness by suffering longer. Oof, that hits, even for me. I come from a generation of long sufferers. You don't have to earn forgiveness by suffering. You don't have to keep hurting yourself to prove that you learned your lesson. You already learned it. And maybe it's finally time to let yourself move forward, to move on. So say it again. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And maybe for the first time, you really need to mean it. Actually mean it. Until next time, stay magnetic, friends.